Good evening, baseball fans. How you doing? We got some news to talk about tonight. It's a late one tonight, so let's get to it. And good evening, baseball fans. Hello. How you doing? I kind of timed that little the zoom right there. I think I timed that pretty good today. What's going on, everyone? How are we doing? My goodness, I got to do it a little earlier because that's the power rankings intro, and so I don't have power rankings pop up on the screen because this isn't power rankings. We're talking news tonight. What's going on, everyone? How are we doing? A lot of familiar faces in the chat. John Sullivan, Lionheart 70. What's going on, my friend? What is happening? Hamlin, what's going on? Nolan, Zachary, Carson, Bambrook, one of our moderators. What's going on? Couple of members. Ed Bagley, U.S. veteran. How you guys doing? Welcome. Turner Mant, what's going on? Caden, hello. Brandon Dillman, how you doing? Ballcap Sports is here. I think you're here still. If you're not, well, we'll see you next time. But if you are here, hello. What's going on, my friend? Busy time for us. Hello. Dark Wolf, what's going on? Lee, Nick, what's going on, my friend? How you doing? Nick, we are not doing Rafael Devers for Dominic Smith. Absolutely not. You know what? Why not? Let's just do it. I mean, come on. What are my Red Sox going to do anyway? Anyway. Let's get to it, everyone. Welcome to tonight's show. A bit of a late one tonight. A bit on purpose because we had a late trade last night. So I was kind of just standing pat for a little bit just in case there were any late trades. And I figured, I went to the gym a little earlier. I was banging and clanging over there. I was doing some deadlifts earlier, breaking my back in half. And I figured, hey, I'll wait a little bit tonight just in case anything happens because, I always hate when we go live and then you end the live stream and then something happens, right? That happened so many times a couple years ago, man. Oh, even last year too. But, yeah, late one. So I appreciate everyone coming out tonight and let's get to it. But as always, if you are new to the channel, think about subscribing down below. We just hit 25K. And, hey, we're zooming on forward on our way to 26K. Let's see if we can get there. Everyone, hit that like button for me. The goal for tonight, I don't know. Let's say 100 likes for tonight. Let's see if we can get to 100 likes. Bell notification, hit that. That way you get notified every time I go live or upload some content. I'm going to try and upload something for tomorrow. And, hey, share the stream if you can, and share any other content as well. Don't forget, we are partners with SeatGeek. Use my code HYDE, $20 off your first purchase. If you're looking to go to, I cannot talk. If you're looking to go to a game, use my code HYDE, $20 off. That's not too bad. That gets you, I don't know, probably what, a hot dog? Probably just a hot dog these days. They're quite expensive at those ball games. Probably a hot dog and a beer. Why not? And also, don't forget, we are partners with Prize Picks. Use my code Ginger. You'll get a 100% deposit match. So if you deposit $20, they'll give you $20. If you deposit $50, they'll give you $50. 100% deposit match if you use my code Ginger. Also, tomorrow, everyone, I will be doing my next episode of the Believe in Red Sox podcast. Going to talk about the upcoming trade deadline, what I'm thinking for the Red Sox. And I haven't been doing it too much lately. I did an episode last week, and I'm a little behind on that. I've just been so busy with the channel, but I'm looking to do an episode for tomorrow, preferably in the morning. So come on in, check it out tomorrow morning, and see what I'm thinking about the Red Sox for the deadline. And, hey, I'm actually going to talk about the Red Sox a little bit tonight, so maybe you'll get a bit of a sneak preview. And we got a lot of other stuff to talk about tonight. Juan Soto, Shohei Ohtani. Obviously, Juan Soto is the big name. I feel like we're not hearing a ton about him right now. It was juicy there for a little bit. but hearing some murmurs here and there, hearing Ohtani in the news. The Mets made a trade. And no, it wasn't for Juan Soto. It was not for Juan Soto. Someone else. We'll break that trade down in just a little bit. We're going to talk about the Cardinals. What else are we talking about tonight? What else do I got here? We're going to talk a little Luis Castillo, Frankie Montas, even Carlos Rodon could be in the news. Stay tuned to see what's going on with him. But let's get to it here. First story, I got to start off with Juan Soto. And it's looking like the Padres maybe could be the front runners. My goodness, what's going on? It was looking like maybe it was the Cardinals as the front runners at one point. So are we going to see a bit of a back and forth race here between the Padres and the Cardinals? And I'm going to be honest with you, everyone. It feels like, whoa, my music is really loud right there. What the heck is going on here? Good grief. Almost just blew my eardrums out. Hold on a second. Let me pull up the story. Alrighty. With Juan Soto. Where is it? Oh, of course. I goofed something up. I goofed something up here. Hold on one second. Sorry, everyone. I had the article all pulled up. There we go. We got it now on CBS. CBS, I kind of like what they do over there. They're always pretty good at churning out some rumors. And always make sure. I like to go on MLB Trade Rumors. But for me, CBS sometimes, hey, they come in handy. Also, I did have a couple of Super Chats in here. I had a couple of Super Chats. Don't want to miss those. U.S. veteran. Local news. Mariners will make a splash. What say you? U.S. veteran, I will be talking about the Mariners in just a little bit. And I think the Mariners, they got to go out and do something. They're looking great lately. I think they got to go make a move. U.S. veteran, thank you so much for the $5. And Yosmite Blam, I probably botched that, but what's going on, my friend? Hap to the Braves? Hey, why not? Worried Braves lack depth to pull a big trade. In AA, we trust. Ronnie and Ian got to get it together. Get Soto out of the NL East, please. Oh, there it is. Popped up right there. But yeah, I think the Braves, I think you're going to see them make some kind of a move. We had a great suggestion last night. We had a Super Chat suggesting, I know it's not going to be like an amazing move on paper, but if the Yankees were to move Joey Gallo, I think it could be a pretty good fourth outfielder for the Braves. Gives them another option off the bench, a guy with some power. I know that's not exactly the top guy you would like to go for. I think you would rather have someone like an Ian Happ. But I think the Braves definitely should go out there and make some kind of a move. I think they do have a really good chance at repeating this year. I think they can make it all the way back to the World Series. So we'll have to wait and see. But let's talk about Mr. Juan Soto here. It's looking like the Padres are the front runners for Juan Soto. And we're going to talk a little Shohei Ohtani just after this. But taking a look here. Buster Olney is reporting that some rival executives perceive the Padres as the front runner at this time. So let's pull up baseball trade values. It is the best baseball trade simulator out there. Me and John of Baseball Trade Values, we had another episode of MLB Trade Talk last night, and I'm sure his website right now is just absolutely going crazy. He's been getting a lot of traffic, especially more this year, considering Jeff Passan retweeted something with Baseball Trade Values, and when that happened, everyone caught wind of this site. I've been using this site now for a couple of years, so it's nice to see that they finally got some attention. But taking a look here, and if you did miss that episode, go check it out. We talked about a lot last night. I think we talked about 11 or 12 different stories and rumors, and go check it out if you haven't seen it already. It's a good listen. But let's pull up the Padres here. I mean, we've gone over this plenty of times. I mean, there's really not really going to be anything different here. I am just pointing this out. I personally don't think the Padres are the front runners. I just don't. I think the Cardinals have, at least in my opinion, I think the Cardinals have the advantage. But what it's going to come down to is what packages are the Nationals going to like better? Are they going to like the package from the Padres, or are they going to like the package from the Cardinals? If I'm running the Washington Nationals, I like what the Cardinals, or I like what I could get from them. I really do. If you could go get someone like a Dylan Carlson, who I think when you're looking at values, Dylan Carlson, out of the 3 younger outfielders that they have, makes the most sense, including him in a deal. So I'm not doing a trade between the Padres and the Cardinals. I'm just going to line this up here so that way you could see. Super chat coming in. $1 super chat from Baseball Beast. Baseball Beast. Thank you for the $1. I appreciate the support. But as you can see here, again, I'm not doing a trade with the Cardinals and the Padres. I'm just lining up both of their players here just so you can get a visual. So Carlson, as you can see here, $77.5 million. There will be an update to the values on baseball trade values this weekend, so stay tuned for that. Mets fan, what's going on? $1.99. Mets got Naquin. We will be talking about that in just a little bit. Hey, Mets going out there and making some moves. But let's say they were to include someone like a Jordan Walker. There's also someone like a Gorman out there for the Cardinals as well. You got someone like Mason Wynn. So the Cardinals here, again, I'm putting them on the Padres just so you can see. And the Cardinals, they got some guys at the top that really would get a trade done. Now, for the Padres, they got some pretty good pieces too. So CJ Abrams would start off those talks. You got a pretty solid outfield prospect in a Robert Hassel. Well, and Mackenzie Gore, what's going on with him now, injury-wise? Is he someone that could be a part of a deal? I feel like maybe you might have to leave him off the table now. You got someone like Wood. You do have a major league ready guy in Grisham. He's only 25 years old. I think that would be a natural replacement for Juan Soto. I think I would rather have Dylan Carlson. But then again, I wonder if the Cardinals would want to trade Dylan Carlson. That's also another thing to think about. I would think that they would probably have to. You got someone like Jackson Merrill here. Don't forget about a Campusano. He has lost a little value. But now if we're taking a look here, again, I'm kind of making trades, or I'm not making a trade between these two teams. I'm just pointing out what each team could offer. So the Padres, you got some guys here. They're gonna have to give up more volume, but maybe the Nationals, maybe they want that. You know, maybe they want a little more volume. Maybe they want more players. Where the Cardinals, they have the advantage where it would take less players to get it done. So at the end of the day, it's really going to come down to what the Nationals prefer. Mr. Mountain Dew 9, $5 super chat. What do the Twins do? Pitching, obviously. What about Contreras as catching depth with Gary Sanchez? I'd probably say, I guess you could do it for Wilson Contreras. I feel like that would be a bit of a surprise. But I think for the Twins, I think pitching is more of the route. They got to go get a starter, man. The good chance they're going to make the playoffs, but man, they got to... I like their starting pitching. I mentioned this yesterday, or a couple of days ago, sorry. Or was it yesterday? Was it yesterday? I can't remember. It was yesterday. Yeah, wow. It's crazy, man. What a blur that whole thing was. I went on the MLB YouTube Game of the Week, and still absolutely surreal to me that I went on that and got to be able to talk with these people from MLB Network. That just blew my mind. But they did ask me, you know, which team do you think would go deeper into the playoffs, the Twins or the Brewers? Those are the two teams playing yesterday on the Game of the Week. And I said the Brewers. I just think the Brewers, they have the better starting pitching. And the Twins, I don't hate their starting pitching. There's definitely some good pieces there. But when I look at who their opponents could be in the playoffs, the Yankees, the Astros, the Blue Jays, the Mariners are red hot. You got a lot of beef right there in the American League. I feel like the Twins would have a tougher time. But if they could go get someone like a Luis Castillo, like a Frankie Montas, and we'll talk about another guy here in just a little bit that maybe could be a trade piece. But if they could go get a guy at the top of that rotation, I really think the Twins, they could have a shot at it. Right now, I don't like their starting pitching. But if they could add someone, I definitely think they could. But back to this. As you can see, the Cardinals, you got 4 guys here that have a really good amount of value. So let me actually here, let's just pull this up just really quick. In case anyone is here for the first time, Let me pull up Juan Soto here for you, and just so you can see what it's going to cost you. Buy Bitcoin daily. Jake, what's going on? $2 super chat. Abrams, Gore, Morahan, Hassel, Merrill, Woods. Yeah, man, that's definitely a ton of value. Now, I only question here what's going on with Gore. So has there been any kind of an update on Gore? So he was placed on the IL a couple of days ago. I don't know if there's been any other news on him. Let's take a look at the RotoWire. Yeah, I mean, the latest update is that he was just placed on the IL, so there's not really anything else going on. So that's something to keep an eye out for. I mean, that would definitely be, unless the Nationals are okay with that, you know, young starting pitcher. If he ended up needing to get something like Tommy John, would the Nationals be okay with that? Because, I mean, he was having himself, he's been struggling a little bit lately. He was having a pretty good run there, but his ERA and his FIP have jumped up into the 4s. If we take a look at some of his last starts, and maybe he's been pitching with some kind of an injury lately. I mean, if you take a look here, I mean, he had one really bad start. Actually, he had a couple of really bad starts. I take that back. He's actually had 3 really bad starts. The Giants, the Rockies, and the Rockies again before that. He was just blown up those 3 times. So that has made his ERA jump up really just a lot. So Gore would be an intriguing piece in a deal like this. So let's put this together. Let's do the Padres. Let's do the Nationals. So Nationals with Soto, you're looking at right under $180 million. And then with the Padres, let's start it off. Abrams, Hassel. And again, let me skip Gore for now, just in case the Nationals are not really willing to take on someone who's hurt. You got Wood. You got Grisham. You got Merrill. And then you are getting pretty close here with these 5 guys. Buy Bitcoin. Gore is fine. Recurring elbow. Yeah. You know. But then again, do the Nationals want to take on someone who's having a recurring elbow problem? I don't know. You know, that's something. If they're okay with taking Gore, well then yeah, you're made in the shade. You know, you can get this done. So as you can see here, 6 players. You're basically clearing out the top of your farm, and then you giving up some young players as well with that are in the major leagues in Gore and Grisham. So the Padres have the firepower to get it done. Cody, I missed a super chat. Oh, Baseball Beast, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We're getting a lot of super chats coming in. I apologize for that. Baseball Beast, super chat earlier. Rangers deadline will end up being either just Soto and maybe one mid-tier starting pitcher, or Gallo, one of Castillo, Pablo Lopez, Molly, and one really good relief pitcher. I would lean more towards B. I don't think the Rangers are going to get Soto. I don't think they have enough beef to get it done. I could see them getting a Pablo Lopez or a Molly. I could see something like that, because I think the Rangers are going to look to add for next year. Sure, they're probably not going to make it into the playoffs this year, but I mean, just because you're not going to make the playoffs doesn't mean, you know, you're going to sell off everything, right? You're looking towards the future, and I could see the Rangers going after someone like a Pablo Lopez. I think they have the beef to get it done. Molly, you would have them under control for next year. So I definitely think option B right there, you know, bringing a Gallo, you know, if you can bring in Gallo and Pablo Lopez, and then, I don't know, maybe you can get a bullpen arm somewhere. I think that would be really good for the Rangers, and I think that they would be jumping the market a little bit. They're not waiting until the offseason to go and try and make some moves. I like that. I think the option B that you mentioned, I think that's going to be good. Thank you for the $5 super chat, and thank you. Who pointed that out to me? Who pointed that out? Okay. Oh, Cody. Thank you for pointing that out, Cody. I appreciate that. My potato brain doesn't catch all the super chats sometimes. But the Padres, they would have to give up more, but maybe the Nationals would actually like this. Maybe they actually want more players for Soto. They got a lot of work to do with that farm. But now the Cardinals. The Cardinals, taking a look here. Now let's clear this out. We got the Cardinals. This is the team that I think is going to get Soto. I'm probably going to be wrong, but what can you do? What can you do? So let's take a look. Nationals. Here we go. Soto. And so there are some reports. I am going to, let me actually pull this up. Soto. I am going to talk about Nolan Gorman in just a little bit, but there were some reports yesterday that the Cardinals were offering Nolan Gorman in a package. So, if you could, here's the thing. I know everyone's thinking, okay, well, the Cardinals, they don't want to give up Jordan Walker. Okay, but I've mentioned this now a few times. Let's say Jordan Walker comes up next year, right? Let's say he's ready. You got Arenado at third. You got Goldschmidt at first. You got the DH spot, I guess. So I guess you could always mix and match people in there. But position-wise, Jordan Walker is blocked. So you got Tyler O'Neill out in the left. I mean, I don't know. Do they really see Walker as much of an outfielder, or do they really want to just have him at third? Walker would be a pretty natural piece to send back. Let's say you didn't put him in. Let's say the Cardinals hung on to him. And instead of Walker, you go with Gorman. So, and then I guess, but then again, like, Gorman, if we go to the Cardinals right now, Gorman's been playing a lot of second base. So, with Gorman, it just, I don't know, because like Walker, I know I'm maybe jumping the gun a little bit. I'm thinking towards the future, but I just think with Walker, he just doesn't really have a place in St. Louis. You got Brendan Donovan at third. What's going on with Arenado? Where's Arenado? What happened with him? Where is he at? There he is. Oh, he's on the restricted list. That's right. So, I don't know. Just Walker just seems a little blocked. So he seems like a pretty natural piece to put in this deal. So, things always work themselves out with injuries. And, what are we doing? We're getting a lot of spam in the chat. No politics. We're talking baseball here. We're talking baseball. We're not talking politics. But taking a look, I just like Walker a part of the deal. I don't know. It just makes sense to me. But let's say he's not. And, you can put Gorman. We're just looking at numbers. So if you did Carlson, Gorman, I don't know, maybe throw in Wynn. You're getting pretty close here. So, you could put in a couple of more pieces. Someone like a Tink Hence. Chad Dub, $5 super chat. As a Cards fan, it seems we go for need over best available. I'm glad you choose Cardinals for ditto, though. Yeah, Chad Dub, I agree with you. So the Cardinals, they're going to find ways to fill the holes in their team. So, but in this case, so one more time, you said, as a Cards fan, it seems we go for need over best available. Yeah, so the Cardinals have always done that. And actually, one need that the Cardinals have, they really need some starting pitching. They need it. They really need it, man. Honestly, I'm going to throw a name out there. We got 500 people in the chat right now. Hey, why not someone like a Noah Syndergaard? I think Noah Syndergaard could be a pretty nice piece. He's having himself a decent season this year, coming back from Tommy John. I could definitely see it. I could see that. And he's not going to really cost a whole lot. That's the thing. He's going to be basically a rental. So they would be going with rental starting pitchers back-to-back years. Last year they got Lester, and they had Happ as well. So I could see someone like Syndergaard. If you could go get Soto and Syndergaard, I think that's a pretty decent. Pretty decent deadline. Hey, it's not too bad getting a Juan Soto. That's not bad at all, if you ask me. But for the Cardinals, you could get this done without Walker if you did want to put Gorman in this deal. Sure, you could. I got 4 players here, and you're right around those values. The Padres would be giving more players. And I don't know. To me, I like this package way better. To me, if I got someone like Carlson in exchange, oh my goodness, I'm taking that all day, every day. Joe Girardi hater, what's going on? What do you see the Phillies doing? I think the Phillies, man, they're just looking at all options. I think you just got to try and add pieces where you can. I think if you could add some kind of an outfielder, I could argue someone like Ian Happ would be pretty good for them. Shortstop has not really been a great spot for them. I'll be honest with you. If the Red Sox we're going to talk about the Red Sox in just a little bit. If the Red Sox were willing to deal Bogarts, I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know. Didi has not been great this year. I think he would be a great bat for that lineup. I mean, that's just me. But I think they're going to add some kind of a bat. I could see them adding some starting pitching. Dave Dombrowski was saying that he would like to add a starter. They've been having some injuries in that rotation. And I think just depth for the Phillies. I think that's what they need to add. But I don't think they can really go out there and make any blockbuster moves. I think they could make some solid moves, kind of like the level of a Kyle Gibson last year, because they don't have too much of a farm. And, I think they're going to go out and make some solid depth kind of moves. Joe Girardi hater, thank you for the super chat. But this is what I'm thinking here. The Cardinals, to me personally, I'm not doing Gorman. I'm doing Walker. He just makes a lot more sense. I mean, these four players right here, I mean, look at that. It like lines up perfectly. There's no Corbin in this deal. Honestly, if I'm the Cardinals, I would take Corbin. You need pitching. You need some innings. You need some guys that can pitch. I would take Corbin back. It's a lot of money, but if the Nationals were willing to pay some of the contract, and then you can. Then at that point, you wouldn't have to give up as many prospects. Maybe you could take out like a Tink Hence in this deal, or maybe like a Win, and you can replace him with a prospect that's going to cost a little less if you were to take on Corbin. But Redbirds, Robbie, Cardinals cannot trade Carlson. Well, why not? Well, why can't they? Why can't they trade Carlson? Of course they could. It's Juan Soto here we're talking about. Dylan Carlson's very nice, but this is Juan Soto. It's Juan Soto. Cody, what's going on, my friend? I see your $10 super chat coming up. If the Red Sox are telling the truth about not trading Devers and Bogey, do you think they buy? Otherwise, it doesn't make sense not to sell. Also, missed a super chat about the Padres from Jake. I missed another super chat? What the heck is going on? I'm missing super chats left and right. My goodness. Also, Chad Dubb, you became a member for the 5th month in a row. Thank you so much. Who? Jake? Where'd that one come from? Oh, I'm going to have to go pull that up in a little bit. I apologize for that. When was that one? Man, my goodness. I gotta maybe start putting up the notification sound a little higher so I can hear these super chats. I apologize. But Cody, I've been saying this from the start. We're gonna talk about the Red Sox here in a little bit. I think they do a mix. If you want to know my answer, right now I'm jumping the gun a little bit. I was gonna wait until I talked about that as one of my stories for tonight, but I think they're just gonna do a mix. I think they're gonna see what they can do to improve the team now, but also look to get value for the future as well. The Red Sox are trying to build sustainability. That's what they're trying to build. They're not just going to go sell off everyone. They have the talent to compete this year. They could go on another run. I'm not like sitting here trying to sound like a homer, but they could go on another run. Teams have been just going on run. This is like the year of going on a run. Like, holy cow. Do you realize how many teams have gotten hot this year? Looking at the Orioles lately, the Mariners lately. The Mariners like just completely blew the roof off the place, and they just got right back into the wild card scene. The Red Sox, they went on their run back in June. You know, you've been having these teams just going on crazy runs to just get themselves back into the hunt. The Red Sox are not like 10 games out. They're like 4 games out now. 3.5, 4.5. I can't remember the exact number, but they could get hot. So I don't think they're going to sell. I think that's like the easy thing, but you got to know how Bloom operates. Bloom is not someone that is going to just sell off pieces. I think he's going to buy and sell. I think if he can get if he can get some pieces that are going to help him for the next 2 to 3 years, I think he'll do it. Oh, U.S. Veteran upgraded his membership to Legend. U.S. Veteran, thank you for doing that. Don't forget, everyone, We have over 500 people in the chat. Hey, we got memberships on the channel for 99 cents. You can have badges and emojis for the live streams. If you go to the legend tier, you get access to I'm going blank now. I think I have 3 different memberships. Go look at the perks. You'll go see the perks. Go check out the membership perks. But one of them, you get access to a private Discord where you can talk baseball throughout the day. So anyway, that's what's going on here with Soto. Padres looking like the front runners right now. The one advantage the Padres do have is that they can, because of the values, they can give more volume, right? Where the Cardinals, I mean, they can give volume too, but they're very top heavy to where they can give you a few players that are going to be of very high value. So it really is going to come down to what the Nationals, what package they prefer at the end of the day. So it's going to come down to how they evaluate players, what they're looking for exactly, you know, or the Nationals, sorry. It depends on what the Nationals are looking for. It depends on how they evaluate talent. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to what they like. So there's going to definitely be more of this to come. There's going to be more of this to come. It feels like the kind of like the quiet before the, you know, what is the term? Quiet before the storm. So just feels like something is just brewing out there. I think he gets traded at this point. I don't think this is just like some fun news. I think there's too much smoke now. I think it's going to happen. So we're going to have to wait and see. But let's move on to our next story. We're sticking with the Padres. We got Shohei Ohtani. What the heck is going on here, man? What is going on? Let's talk about Shohei Ohtani. So this was actually in the same article here. Well, actually, no. I have this on MLB Trade Rumors. So here we go. So this was published today. The Angels reportedly don't have any interest in trading Shohei Ohtani, but that hasn't stopped the team from at least listening to offers out of due diligence. The Padres are one of those teams who have called about Ohtani, according to Ken Rosenthal, who adds that this is the type of aggressive move that has become typical of San Diego president of baseball operations, A.J. Preller. I'm going to say this. My goodness. There's my Apple Pencil. I'm going to say this right now. If the Cardinals go get Soto, if the Padres feel like they're not going to get a deal done, do not be surprised if they start blowing up the Angels' phone and they're like, all right, we're out of the Soto sweepstakes. We want to jump into the Ohtani madness. We want him. We want Ohtani. What is it going to cost? And here's the thing. The Padres, they might, and again, I talked earlier, it depends on what the Nationals are going to want in terms of a package. Let's say the Nationals want to lean more towards the Cardinals' top-heavy kind of prospects, right? The Padres could get this done. They absolutely could get this done for a Shohei Ohtani. We got another super chat coming in. Mark, what's going on? Why can't people see that St. Louis can get Soto and a starting pitcher? They could. I agree with you. They could get Soto, but it's going to be hard for them at that point to get Luis Castillo. They could get Montas. His value has dropped a little bit because he was having some shoulder issues. So that's possible. Now, will the A's like what the Cardinals are offering? I don't know. But I just mentioned this guy's name earlier. If they were to get Soto, they could go get someone like a Noah Syndergaard. They would have to probably go for a rental. So that would see if they got Soto, because you're clearing out so many trade pieces at that point. So really, I think your options are going to have to be to look at rentals, and I mean, you could maybe go swing a deal for Montas too. I don't see why they couldn't. I think that'd be great. But I agree with you. They could get Soto in a starting pitcher. I don't think Luis Castillo is going to be that guy. But yeah, So, but L-Man Baseball, Robbie. If the Cardinals don't get Soto, they should get Noah Syndergaard and Ohtani. The Cardinals should offer something like Baker, Hara, O'Neill, and Walker. I mean, here's the thing about Ohtani with the Cardinals. I think a team similar to Soto, I think they want to trade for Ohtani if they feel like he's going to sign an extension. Will he want to sign an extension with the Cardinals? I mean, is he going to want to stay more on the West Coast? Remember when you go back to his free agency, or not free agency, his when he was playing overseas, and then he had that signing period where there was a bunch of teams looking at him. He didn't want to go to the Yankees. He didn't want to go to the Cubs. He wanted to stay more on the West Coast. And so would he want to sign with the Cardinals? I don't know. So I don't know about that. It'd be great for them because the Cardinals need pitching. So that'd be awesome. That would be fantastic for them. But let's set up a trade here with the Padres. They've been making phone calls about Ohtani. So let's go take a look. Here we go. Now with Soto, he's looking at around 170, 180 million, somewhere in that range. With Ohtani, you're looking at a little over 100 million. I mean, if you could go get a deal done for Soto, you could definitely get a deal done for Ohtani if they want to do it. Abrams is going to have to go. And here's the thing. You're almost halfway there. So, I mean, sure, you could do Hassel here, but then you don't have to part with all these other guys. You know, you wouldn't have to part with Wood. You wouldn't have to part with Merrill. You know, you could send back Campusano. You could do that. And then you're getting pretty close here. Cash Nelson, $1.99. Soto and Thor to St. Louis, maybe Quintana or Blackburn. Yeah, I've in my video. What the heck is going on here? What are we doing? What is with the spam? Moderators. I need the moderators. Where are the moderators at? Hello. Come on. We can't be having all this spam in the chat. Moderators, please, if you're out there, help me. But taking a look here with the Padres and the Angels, right? You could definitely get a deal done here. But what the Padres could do is they could still offer a pretty good amount of volume here as well. You could give some top-heavy prospects, and then you could give someone of lower value like Campusano, and then you can kind of just maybe plug in a couple more pieces here. You could, put in a Zavala, I mean, and you're pretty much made in the shade at this point. I think the Padres, they're a better fit. Just my opinion. And again, I've said this like 18 times now. It's going to come down to what the Nationals want. So if they want the Cardinals, here you go, Here you go. Got Abrams as your shortstop of the future. I'm just saying. I like the Padres for Ohtani. I think it makes a lot of sense. You need a bat. It's not going to hurt at all to have someone like Ohtani, game 1 or game 2 for the playoffs. For pitching. So I think Ohtani fits the Padres extremely well. So we're going to have to wait and see what's going to happen with this. But I do personally think the Padres, they line up better for Ohtani. So if they missed out on Juan Soto and they got Shohei Ohtani, I don't think that's really that bad at all. If you ask me, I think that's pretty great. So we're just gonna have to wait and see, like always. So let's move on to the next story here. Enough of Juan Soto, enough of Ohtani. Let's get to some pitching, shall we? We got Frankie, Montas, Luis Castillo. We got some stories out there. Let's go take a look at what is going on here. So let's talk about. Oh, I just clicked out of it. Oh, killing me. Oh, brutal. Here we go. So let's start off with Luis Castillo. The Yankees. To me, I was on MLB Network yesterday. I was on their YouTube channel, but talking with the people from MLB Network, and they asked me, what is one trade that you would like to see? This is it right here. Luis Castillo to the Yankees. As a Red Sox fan, I don't want to see this. But to me, if there's one year the Yankees are just going to finally decide to win one, I picked them the last 2 years to win, and they just made me look ridiculous. And this is the year. They've been connected with this guy for a couple of years. Just go get this guy. You can go get a deal done. However, let's take a look at the article here. Yankees push hard for Castillo, but Reds are the holdup. Now, I wonder if there's a little bias here because this is being written out of a New Jersey media company, so maybe there's a little bit of bias. Oh, I gotta subscribe to this? Are you kidding me? Oh, come on. I gotta subscribe? Oh, get out of here. This is ridiculous. I understand. They got to make some money. But this is why I like CBS Sports. They can help us out. So, taking a look here, the Yankees expressing strong interest, pushing hard for Luis Castillo. The report further indicates the Reds aren't necessarily ready to deal Castillo just yet. Instead, likely holding Castillo until much closer to the deadline. Hey, that's something that did we have a super chat come in? Joe Girardi hater, could I be a mod? Sure. You got it. You've been coming out for long enough. Wouldn't mind a moderator for tonight. Joe Girardi hater, you are on. Luke 22 is also here. Luke 22 and Joe Girardi hater, if you can, take care of the chat for tonight. The one thing you got to remember here with trades is we can always sit here and we can talk about and speculate what players could go back and forth. Is it a good trade for, both sides? Yada, yada. But you have to remember here, teams are playing hardball, no pun intended. There's leverage involved. There's other teams trying to drive up the price for other teams as well. There's strategy in this. There's a lot of other stuff going on behind the scenes when it comes to this stuff. And the Reds, well, they're just doing something simple here. And they're just holding on because they know this is one of the prizes of the trade deadline. That's the leverage that the Reds have, right? So I think, but also another advantage that they have is that there's not a lot of starting pitching out there. There's not a lot. You got Montas, he's having shoulder issues. You got Molly. Sure, that would be a nice addition for your rotation, but that's not someone like a Luis Castillo. Oh, I watched a video earlier of some changeups from him. Oh, his changeup is just beautiful, man. It's beautiful. But taking a look, Castillo, 2.86 ERA, 90 strikeouts in 85 innings. He's having a great year this year. I do think this is the move the Yankees need to make. They got to go get this done. They got to do what you got to do to go get Luis Castillo. That's your game 1 or 2 starter. Cole would most likely be game 1, but unless they wanted to play to some certain matchups, you could have Luis Castillo in a game 1, whatever. But to me, if you have Cole and Castillo 1 and 2 in the playoffs, that's pretty nasty. If you ask me, that's going to be tough. I think they got to do it. You don't know what's going to be going on with Luis Severino. Even if they had Luis Severino, I would still say to go after Castillo. Absolutely. Absolutely, I would. But talking also here, the Mariners are also in the hunt. There is a video here with Ken Rosenthal. He was talking with Fox Sports and saying, hey, the Mariners, it's looking like Luis Castillo is their number 1 target. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see what the problem is with that. You do have a rotation here, right? You got Gonzalez, you got Gilbert, you got Ray, you got Flexen, you got Kirby. But let's go take a look here. I'm actually intrigued. I haven't looked up this stat yet. Which team is leading the major leagues in innings pitched from their starters? Seattle is 3rd. So they're getting a lot of work from their starting pitchers right now. They're getting guys making their starts left and right. You got to remember, George Kirby is a rookie. Is he going to be on some kind of an innings limit? You got to remember that. This isn't going to be a guy, they don't want him to go through what Mark Pryor went through earlier on in his career, where he was just throwing inning after inning after inning after inning, and basically ruined his career after that point. You want to be careful with Kirby. You don't want to be, but also I think I would rather have Luis Castillo, a veteran guy in the playoffs, instead of George Kirby. I think Kirby's going to have a fantastic career, but to me, Seattle, man, they're working hard with that rotation, and I think someone like Castillo could be an amazing fit for them. I would not be surprised to see the Mariners get involved. I also wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees end up getting a Castillo. Don't be surprised if Montas becomes an option for them. Right? Sure, you can have an in-division trade. I don't see why not. To me, the A's are just completely out of it. It doesn't really matter at this point. So I think Montas could be an option for them. I think the Mariners are going to get someone for this rotation because when I'm looking at this rotation, right, I like it, but it's kind of like, I don't know. There's just something, it's good, but it's meh. I don't know, kind of like the Twins almost, where I like the pitching, but when I'm thinking of playoffs and I'm thinking of World Series aspirations, I'm not seeing, an amazing rotation there. I want some beef. I want some Castillo. I want some Montas in there. That's what I want. And I think the Mariners are definitely going to be an option. Don't forget the Astros were looking in on Luis Castillo as well. There's going to be a bidding war for Castillo, man. It's going to be juicy, and I can't wait for it. Albert, what's going on? $5 super chat. Any predictions for big names that we haven't heard are available, but you think will get moved? Also, any chance Heim makes a splash or just minor? I'll kind of do a 2-for-1 right there. With Bogarts, man, you haven't really been hearing his name, and then I'm going to talk about that in just a little bit, but just to give you a little preview of that, they were saying they're probably not going to be interested in moving Bogarts. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm buying it all that much. Now, if some other names that could be options, I think if you're just looking at, I think someone like some arms and some bullpens. They're not like huge names. Maybe like Aaron Loop with the Angels. I think you could see him get moved. Ryan Tepera, he's been kind of whatever this year. That's a reliever that you could see get moved. And there's another guy. You guys are sending in these super chats, and you're kind of, it's like you almost know exactly what I'm going to be talking about here. You got someone like Carlos Rodon on the Giants. If the Giants were to completely fall out of it, could Carlos Rodon be a guy that you could move? And the Giants can maybe just cash in. And because I believe he has the opt-out, right? I think he has an opt-out after this year. So maybe the Giants just get rid of him now. Yeah, he can opt out after this year. So, I don't know. A team could look at him like a rental. So, I think someone like Rodon could be possible. I'm gonna talk about this in a little bit. If I'm looking at some other teams, there is Pablo Lopez with the Marlins. There is him. So, that's a guy you're not really hearing too much of. And there's also Arizona. Wonder if Arizona goes out there. They got some guys here that you could move. David Peralta is a guy. We saw Benintendi get moved. So I think you could see Peralta end up being another outfielder that gets moved here. Detroit, me and John Bitzer of Baseball Trade Values talked about the Tigers yesterday. And you got some, they've really screwed the pooch when it comes to this rebuild. I don't know. They just jumped the gun and they tried to do it, but someone like Andrew Chafin could be a pretty nice piece for a team. Robbie Grossman, possibly. Those are the under the radar names. Gregory Soto could help out a team. That's a player on there that has some value where they could bring in some young pieces back. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see, but that's a good question. As for the other part of your question, also any chance Heim makes a splash? I don't think he's going to make any big splashes. If it is Bogarts, then yeah, I think you could. I'm still going to wonder if Bogarts' endeavors are still on the table. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But Albert, thank you for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate it. Again, a lot of these super chats, thank you. But I think you all, it's like you guys know what I'm talking about tonight. It's like you're already... I don't know. Someone must have hacked my computer. You know exactly what I'm going to be clicking on next. My goodness. You guys are all just very intelligent. You know exactly what I'm going to be talking about. So, moving on. Which one was I talking about? I was talking about Luis Castillo and Frankie Montas. With Montas, where was the story on that? Oh, the Padres. We're talking Padres here. We're talking Padres. Mackenzie Gore, we talked about him going on the IL. Manaea, he's been a little up and down. If you're the Padres, could you add one of these guys? I mean, why not? So these two have been linked to the Padres. I don't know, man. There's just so much going on right now, and I think Juan Soto's got to get moved, man. It's like we talked about this last night with John, and he was like, man, this whole market's just being held up. So they got to do something here with Soto because you got all these other guys out here. It's like, man. So I would die laughing if the Padres ended up getting one of these guys. It's like they're just making moves left and right, man. Man, they just like to wheel and deal. So let's move on here. We pretty much already broke this down. I'm not going to really get into it too much here. We do have a super chat coming in, though. Mets fan, where do you live and what town? Mets fan, I'm in Central Florida, my friend. I am around Orlando. I used to live in Massachusetts. And, yeah, man. And I moved to Florida, 20 years ago with my family. And been here ever since, my friend. Been here ever since. But I do make it a priority to get back to Boston at least once a year. So, but, yeah, man. Mets fan. Thank you for the super chat. But taking a look here at our next story. Again, I already kind of talked about this a little bit. But the Cardinals, we mentioned Nolan Gorman earlier as a possible trade piece with Juan Soto. And, Nolan Gorman, this is a guy who has some value. And, and also Edmundo Sosa. Don't sleep on that name. And there's also, there was a story today about Paul DeJong, where he could end up going, he can come back to the Cardinals soon. But with Nolan Gorman, he is someone that has value. He is a trade piece. If the Cardinals, that's their strength right now. They have these major league ready pieces that you could move. So the thing with Gorman, it's like you would like to keep this guy, but you got no pitching. So you got Gorman, who could end up maybe helping you get someone. You're dealing from a position of strength. So I wouldn't be surprised. I think Gorman, unless he goes in a Soto deal, I'd be pretty surprised if he ends up getting moved. But at this point, the Cardinals, man, they need pitching. So in a way, I guess I wouldn't be surprised if he got moved. But that would be a little shocking because, hey, this has been one of their top prospects for a little while. He's been in the majors. But if it could go get you someone, to me, Gorman, if you're looking here, let me pull up Gorman one more time. He's already worth more than Castillo. So, if you're taking a look here, he's got over $55 million worth of value. Whereas if you're looking at the Reds and Castillo, he's got 41. So, you're not going to trade Gorman for Castillo. That's just doesn't line up. So, I don't know. I'm trying to think, maybe, unless it's someone like a Pablo Lopez, let me actually put that trade together here. Let's put that together. Pablo Lopez could be someone. But then again, it just feels, I don't know, Gorman is just such high value. Pablo Lopez on the Cardinals could be a really nice fit. But, if you're looking here. So, but then again, I don't know. Gorman's worth more. So, but, actually, now that I think about it, because the Marlins, they've been looking for a bat. So, but that just sounds weird to give up Lopez and maybe another piece for just Gorman. I don't know, unless the Marlins, maybe you could do something else. I'm I don't even know. My brain is not working with this right now. But I guess they could line up in a deal, because the Marlins do need a bat. The Cardinals need pitching, but the Cardinals would need to get a little more, I would think. So unless Lopez's value does come up a little bit in the next update, and maybe Gorman's could take a tick, go a tick down. I don't see why it would, but I wouldn't completely doubt this idea. But the point is that Nolan Gorman could be used as trade bait. Edmundo Sosa, on the other hand, let's pull him up here. He's got 6.6. So, hey, I wonder, let's say, hold on, I was mentioning Noah Syndergaard here. I feel like Edmundo Sosa is more likely to be a guy that ends up getting moved. And hey, I got a good one here for you. How about Sosa to the Angels, and you can just bring back Syndergaard? I mean, you'd actually have to get a little bit. I mean, I guess you could just do these guys straight up. Sosa or Syndergaard's value can range anywhere from 3.6 to 5.4. Sosa's median is 6.6, but he could be as low as 5.3. So I guess you could swap these guys straight up. And then for the Angels, actually, how much control does Sosa have? All right, well, Sosa's got a lot of control. He's not a free agent until 2027. So I could see the Angels doing this, and I could see the Cardinals doing this as well, because they do need some pitching. I think it'd be tough to, give up someone under that much control for just a rental. But maybe you can get another prospect back in this deal. So, I'd look out for the Cardinals here. They're in the news, man, not just for Soto, but they need to add pitching. I've said that like 18 times now, but they need to add pitching. So, look out for that. Look out for that. Orlando, Angels need to fire everyone. Sounds like it, right? But let's move on to a couple more stories here. We are already into the next day. It is past midnight here on the East Coast. So let's talk about my Red Sox. Has the clock struck midnight on the Red Sox? Are they done? But let's go pull up here. What's going on with the Red Sox? They did pull out the win tonight against the Guardians. Back to 500. And, man, that is just crazy. This team was looking so good. They were looking so bad, and then they were looking so good. And then it's like, now they're a half a game behind the Orioles. What the heck, man? This is ridiculous. But taking a look here. So the story is, will the Red Sox be buyers? Now, everyone's thinking the Red Sox are going to sell, right? And I will be talking about this a little bit more in depth tomorrow on the Believe in Red Sox podcast. I'll be going live with that here on this channel. And then I'll also be uploading it onto Spotify, Google, Stitcher, Apple, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. So stay tuned for that. So for the Red Sox here, they did win tonight. They're not completely out of it. They're 3.5 out. So, the Mariners, they got red hot there. The Blue Jays got red hot there. But, the Orioles got red hot there, and they're right there for a wild card spot. The Guardians were playing great baseball. This is just a wackadoodle of a season. Just a wackadoodle of a season. Joe Girardi hater, what's the rule on cursing in the chat? If it's a little too much, and feel free to time out or whatever. But yeah, I'd prefer not. It's a family-friendly show. But hey, sometimes maybe you gotta, maybe you gotta let one out. But if someone's spamming or whatever, then yeah, time out. So for the Red Sox, are they going to be buyers? Now, the question, why am I asking this? Well, taking a look here at the Red Sox, Chaim Bloom, he was talking earlier. We're trying to make the postseason. Flat out. Now, here's the thing. This is what's going on with the Red Sox. and Chaim Bloom. Why is he saying that? It's called leverage. He's not going to go out there and be like, yeah, we're selling. We're going to go out there and sell. Bogarts, we're going to trade him. They want to hold their chips close to their chest. They're not going to go out there and just say everyone's available, right? But they're also not out of it. So they could make a run and get back into this thing. And this is what I've been saying here from the get-go. Excuse me. This is what I've been saying here from the get-go with the Red Sox. And look at that. Xander Bogaerts had the big home run tonight. Houdini, $5 super chat. What's going on, my friend? Red Sox should go out and get Scooble. Ooh. Could you see them going after Molly or Blackburn? Low-cost candidates. I agree. And that Houdini, that's what I think the Red Sox are going to end up doing. And if you were to trade Bogaerts, I could see them adding pieces like that back in return. So with the Phillies, I did put together a trade on baseball trade values today. You know what? Let's actually see. Let's see if anyone did some votes on it. I actually put a trade out there today. Okay, all right. I got a few votes here. The Mariners getting Montas, and 2 people liked it for the A's, and then 2 people didn't. I did Montas, Brash, Mako, Montes, and Stout, going back to the A's. Eli Matz, $4.99. I'm good buddies with Sam Kennedy's son. Ooh, that's pretty cool. From high school, and he said there's a very realistic chance the Sox make a move for Josh Bell. I could see it. Here's the thing with Josh Bell. He's very similar to Kyle Schwarber from last year because he's a first baseman. First basemen tend not to have a lot of value, but he's obviously going to bring something to the team, but he's not going to cost a lot. He's not going to cost a whole bunch. That's the thing with Bell. He'll cost you in maybe a couple lower level prospects, but I could see it. They did it with Schwarber last year. So, and their values are probably very, I can't remember what Schwarber's was last year, but it wasn't very high. So they got him pretty easily. I could see them getting Bell. I mean, they've had problems with first base now for a little while. You know, they've been going with the platoon of Cordero and Dahlback, and they've just both had bad seasons. I think Bell, he kills 2 birds with 1 stone. But the deal that I did put together here, I had Bogaerts going to the Phillies, and then going back to the Red Sox, we had Hans Krause, Griff McCary, and Jordan Vyers. Now, Krause is very close to being Major League ready. I'm just saying, you know, like that's a deal that I could see the Red Sox making. It does look like a sell kind of a move, but I could see something like that because that's a cost-controlled guy with Hans Krause who's very close to being Major League ready. He hasn't really performed exactly the way you would think he would, but hey, that's what happened with Nick Pivetta. So I have with Nick Pivetta. They did get Krause last year at the deadline, so you would be basically flipping him essentially. But, yeah, man. I can see the Red Sox doing something like this. Another super chat coming in. And Eli, thank you so much for that. I appreciate the $5. Cody, $5 super chat. Moves I'd like to see. That's a video I am actually working on at the moment. Lee, Orzi, Dom Smith for JD and Vasquez. And that's another name, JD Martinez. I could see him getting moved. Then Bell for Downs, Dahlback, and Herman. All right. Call up Hernandez, then trade for Quintana. Quintana would be interesting. Just because he would be a rental, and he is going to cost you something. So that's where I wonder if Bloom, I don't know if he would do it. I don't think, because now a rental like Bell is not going to cost you a whole lot. So let me actually pull this up for you. Taking a look here. Let's set up the Red Sox and the Nationals in a trade for Josh Bell. We're still at over 600 people, and it is past midnight here on the East Coast. My goodness. You guys are ready for the trade deadline. Yeah, so Bell's $5 million. And you could, yeah, the Red Sox can get this done. You know, that's not a lot. You can give a couple of lower level prospects. You don't have to give up anyone like even in the top 15. You know, you can give up like a Bonacci. I don't know. Drohan. You could do something like this, like in this range. Like you could give up a couple of guys that are a little, you know, in the maybe like the 15 to 25 range. Those are some guys you can give up for Bell. It's not really gonna, dent your farm system. But if they wanna add pieces, that is what you are gonna have to do. Josh Bell would be more of a better fit. Now, getting back to this story, saying here, this declaration made a week prior to the trade deadline seemingly ended some speculation that the Red Sox would be deadline sellers, though Bloom did couch his statement with some intriguing caveats. So whatever that means, we're going to explore a lot of stuff at the deadline. Some of them might be things people expect. Some of them might not be. But we want to get this group into the postseason. So listen, I've been saying this from the start. I've been saying this. Like, you know what that tells me? He's going to look for the moves that are just going to make the most sense for the organization now and in the future, right? He's not just going to look to make moves for the future. He wants to also help now. So if you trade Bogaerts, he is going to bring in a piece that is going to help the team now. So that is something you have to consider. We had a couple of super chats coming in. Boston Productions, Sox should sign David Ortiz 1 year, $4 deal or $4 million. I think give this guy $40 million. David Ortiz, please come back. Boston Productions, thank you. Joe Girardi hater. Philly C. McGarry is untouchable. Wouldn't do it. Yeah, that would be a tough one to pry. So I don't know if Bogaerts would be. I think he would be good for the Phillies. I think he would help their lineup, but. That's the problem with the Phillies. Even getting someone like a Bogaerts without giving up a McGarry might be a little tough. So that I remember when I plugged him in, I'm like, oh man, I feel like the Phillies like him. I don't know, because the Phillies are in a weird spot. They got a team that can contend. Where are the Phillies right now? They're tied for the third wild card. So they're just in this really weird spot where they have a team capable enough of competing, but they don't have a lot of farm, right? So they can't go out there and make any big moves. So, Vitsky, $5. Love the show, Robbie. Thank you very much. I love that you're here. Not sure if the Twins will be mentioned, but what do you think about them getting Molly and Syndergaard, Bell's bat, 2 relievers? Man, oh man, you want a Christmas list over here. You just want it all. I like it. I think the Twins, man, go out and make some moves. Why not? I think Molly would be a great fit. I think Syndergaard could be a good fit. Sure. Josh Bell, why not? Add another bat to that pretty good offense. They do need a couple of arms. I think they need more pitching than anything. Out of all those players that you mentioned here, I think someone like a Molly would be a really nice fit because you have him for next year as well. I'd rather have him over Syndergaard if I could. That's just me. So, but I like it. Vitsky, thank you for coming out for the show, my friend. Thank you for supporting. But yeah, the Phillies are just in a weird spot. But as for the Red Sox here, I've been saying this from the start. They're going to look to help the team now, but they're going to look to help the team for the future. Now, one guy I have speculated about is Rafael Devers. And Sam Kennedy actually talked today. Alex Spire writes that when it comes to deadline plans, typical responses from those inside and outside the organization have ranged from it's all in play to maybe both to objections to the buy-sell to shrugs of uncertainty. Despite all of these options, a truly big shakeup doesn't appear to be in order as both Bloom and Kennedy each ruled out the possibility of Bogaerts or Devers being dealt. I think Devers is more likely not to be dealt. Dude, I don't know, man. Like, if there's an offer out there for... Here's the thing with Bogaerts to where I could see him not being moved because there's not a big market for him. If there was a bigger market for him, if it was a deal that made sense for the Red Sox for this year, then I think they would do it. I think if they got some major league pieces back in a deal for Bogaerts and also got maybe a prospect or two, I could see them doing it. Devers is a little more unlikely. I could see if there is going to be any kind of a deal for Devers. I think they are going to want to try and lock him up. So I don't see them really being serious about even considering even trading him they're gonna revisit extension talks probably in the offseason, I would imagine. And if those don't go well, then I think they'll look into trading him. So, but it also says here, there's been no discussions or commentary internally or externally about moves related to the trade deadline involving Xander, Rafi, or anyone else to my knowledge. At this point, we're focused on getting back in this thing and winning. I mean, he's not really he's not sounding crazy right there. You're not really that far out of it. Get a run back together and you're back in the wild card race. Christopher, what's going on? Do you see the Astros getting Contreras and Happ? I could see them getting Contreras. I think he makes sense for them. Get a bat, Absolutely. I think they could. And for Happ, I mean, if I'm looking at Happ, if I'm looking at the outfield for the Astros, so taking a look here, you got Tucker, you got you got McCormick out in left, Tucker in right, you got Myers. Yeah, I don't see why not. So with McCormick and Myers, I feel like, Happ is definitely going to be an upgrade there. I mean, looking at McCormick, I don't know. He's got a 112 WRC plus. It's not terrible. Myers is not really a great option. Yeah, I could see Happ here. Absolutely. I don't see why not. I could definitely see Castro's been out with an injury. He's been dealing with some knee problems. Man, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I definitely think the Astros can get Happ or Contreras. But as for the Red Sox, one more time, you all know how I feel about it. They're not going to be strictly sellers. They're not going to be buyers. They're going to be flexible, right? They're going to make moves that can help the team now and also help the team in the future. So join me tomorrow morning at some point. I will be doing the Believe in Red Sox podcast to talk more about that. That way I can kind of just zero in a little bit more on that stuff. Michael Yench, any more news about Soto to my Padres? Nope. Just about earlier, I talked earlier that the Padres are right now, Buster Olney is saying that he's been hearing that Padres could be the front runners. So will that be the same news for tomorrow? We'll have to wait and see. Could another team maybe jump out in front tomorrow? I don't know. Another $5 super chat coming in. Jordan Norman. Could the Red Sox get Soto for Duran, Bobby, Frankie, and a few top prospects? Nah, that's not going to happen, Jordan. The Red Sox, they'd have to give up Tristan Casas. They'd have to give up Marcelo Meyer. They'd have to give up, everyone on the top of their farm. They would have to give that up. Yeah, man. It's not going to happen. I don't see it. I don't see Bloom wanting to go for it. I think it would be really cool if they did. In a way, I would actually be kind of bummed because I really do like the prospects that we've added to this farm over the last couple of years. It's definitely helped to have some higher draft picks for sure. But I've liked what the Red Sox have done with this farm system. They've brought in some players through trades. And I don't see the Red Sox just blowing it up for someone like Soto. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But could you maybe deal someone like Duran or Dahlback and Frankie, some other guys possibly in other deals? Yeah, I definitely think you could. Absolutely. So, but thank you for the super chat. We got a couple more stories here. Not really going to take a whole lot of time with these next two because it is getting late over here. It is bedtime. Carlos Rodon, could he be trade bait? Could Carlos Rodon be trade bait? Let's go take a look at this. Let's pull up the story. Here we go. What the heck just happened to my music? What is going on with my music? All right, it just went to the next song. Okay, here we go. Moving on to Carlos Rodon. So, taking a look here. The Giants, they've not been playing great baseball lately. 48-50. Well, actually, did they win tonight? No, they're still 48-50. But, or they're playing right now. What's going on with their game with the Cubs right now? They're up 4-2, bottom of the 8th. So, if they hang on to this, they'll be one game within 500. But if the Giants were to fall out of it, they're 3.5 out, so same situation is the Red Sox right now. They're not playing great lately. They've lost 7 straight coming into tonight. Looks like they could end this streak tonight, but they're not in a great spot. They're not in a bad spot either. But if they were to be out of it by that time, could someone like a Carlos Rodon be a trade piece, especially with teams looking for starting pitching? Yes, he does have the opt-out, but the Minnesota Twins, I mentioned that they could use some starting pitching. And don't forget the Twins, they were in on Carlos Rodon as well in the offseason. I could see the Twins maybe wanting to make a move for him. Let's go see what a trade would look like. Baseball trade values. Let's go take a look here. Here we go. Twins. I don't know my ABCs. I was looking for T and I was going up. But Giants. There we go. What is Rodon's value? I feel like it's not probably very high because he's on a pretty decent contract. Modified SMG. All us Giants fans right now are at war over sell or buy. That's kind of like the Red Sox too. And you're in this like weird spot. Like you don't know what you don't know what's going on. Like you just gotta wait. But then again, like you're so close to the deadline. I mean, we're a few days away here. And also, you know what else is in a couple of days? Hey, WWE SummerSlam. Hey, anyone going to be watching SummerSlam? Well, it's Friday actually now. Anyone going to be watching SummerSlam tomorrow, Saturday night? I'm pretty excited for it. Hey, I used to be a big-time wrestling fan. Not really so much over the last like 5 to 10 years, but I saw that Triple H, Paul Levesque, is now the head of creative for WWE, and he did a great job with NXT. I did like NXT, but then they took him out of it and whatever. I am really excited to see if WWE gets any better over the next, whatever future with him running the creative. And I'm a sucker for these big pay-per-views with the WWE. I love me some WrestleMania. It's more nostalgia than anything, but I'm a sucker for SummerSlam during the summer. But I'm excited for it. That's tomorrow. But yeah, the trade deadline in a few days. It's gonna be it's interesting because these teams are like you're just on the bubble. You don't know what you're doing. But Rodon, 11.8. He's not gonna cost a lot. So if the Twins were willing to take on his contract, so let me actually go back here. Let's see what he's owed. With Rodon, he's making 21.5, and then he'll make 22.5. So he could opt out after this year, and he can go back into the free agent market, which I would imagine he would, because he is having himself a good year. He should have been named to the All-Star game right away. I don't see how he was snubbed. But look at the FIP, man. 2.42 FIP, 3.18 ERA. Dude, this guy's having a great year. Phenomenal. I don't see how he doesn't go into the free agent market. So, in my opinion, Rodon is going to just be a rental. Unless a team would maybe work out a new deal with him. To me, if the Twins are able to get him, I think that would really help their playoff chances. But Rodon could be a hot commodity. St. Louis Cardinals. Could they go after him? So I would not be surprised in the slightest if the Giants were to fall out of it. Man, if they were to fall out of it, I don't see why not. You got some other players on this team too. I don't think Belt really offers a lot. Longoria is always up and down with just, my goodness, like he's just always hurt. I feel bad for the guy. Like Evan Longoria, when he was with the Rays, he was just a beast, So, I don't know. There's not really a whole lot here. Like, the Giants could really deal and get a whole lot back. I mean, like, if I'm looking at the Giants, you got prospects. But, like, after that, you don't really have a whole lot, The Giants could essentially, if they wanted to get more prospects back, you could pay the rest of his salary for this year. And you could end up maybe getting a better prospect back. But I would imagine, a team would just be okay with taking his salary. So, I don't know. Rodon, it's interesting to see where he could possibly, if he could end up going anywhere. But there is another arm out there on the market. We got Daniel Bard. Several teams showing interest in Bard. And but actually, there is a report out there that the Rockies could maybe even looking into extending him. Right? He's having a great year, man. 21 saves, 1.91 ERA. The FIP is a little higher, but it's not bad. It's a reliever at the trade deadline. I'm sure he's going to get a lot of buzz, and it's no surprise here to see that he's already getting a lot of it already. So, yeah, man. Daniel Bard, I would love for the Red Sox to bring him in. I've been wanting that from the start, man. Bring him in. I would love it for the bullpen. Remember, their bullpen was really bad at one point. So, I may have to wait to do that video. I did it last year, and I did it this year as well. One trade for each team by the deadline. I got to maybe hold off, maybe kind of wait a little bit, kind of see what teams really need. Because right now I would lean, because earlier when I made that video, the Red Sox needed some bullpen. But now it's like they need more starting pitching, if anything. So, sure, they could use a reliever. I wouldn't hate it, but I would love Bard back on the Red Sox if that could happen. But no surprise here that the Rockies want to extend him. If the Rockies want to get back into contention over the next few years, Bard has had a lot of success there. Why not try and work out an extension if you can? But I'm not going to be surprised here if Bard just ends up staying. He's done well there. He's done well. But we did have... we got a super chat. Houdini with $1 super chat. Thank you for the support, my friend. We did actually have a trade tonight. The New York Mets. The Mets trading for Naquin. Oh, my. Let's go take a look at this. Now, here's the thing, everyone. We're looking at this. People looking at this trade like they traded for, Juan Soto. I'm like, what the heck? It's not that. I don't know. Naquin was good last year. He's been okay this year. I don't know. He was better last year. So, taking a look here with Naquin. He's hitting 245, a 305 on base, 429 slugging, 6 homers. I don't know. He's missed some time, so that is one thing. He's been hurt. So, but last year was really good. He had an 809 OPS. He had 19 homers, 70 RBIs. So, he struck out way more than he walked. But, he's okay. If we go here for the Mets... Now, it's just funny how they're just adding these bats, like Vogelbach, Naquin. But yeah, Naquin, and, he just goes, he's to the bench. You got a lot of lefty bats on this bench right now. I think he's okay. I don't know. People are, making it sound like they just traded for Juan Soto. I'm seeing people on going live on YouTube, breaking news! Trade for Tyler Naquin. It's like, what the... Okay, it's Naquin. My goodness. He's doing all right. They also got Philip Deal. That's what I was going to say. I love that Baseball Reference has the pronunciation. That is fantastic. That has been a lifesaver for me. Man, because there's times where I'm like, how the heck do you say this guy's name? And I just go to Baseball Reference and bam, they give you the pronunciation right there. But, with him, 28 years old. He hasn't really done much. He's really just been a minor league kind of a guy. If we look at his numbers in the minors, this is a guy out of Louisville, or Louisiana Tech, sorry, when he was in college. But, he's had some good numbers in the minors. Last year in AAA, wait, what's the difference here? AAA East. Oh, because was he with the Rockies? Oh, okay, he was in the Rocky system. But yeah, he moved over to the Red system. Or which one did he go to? International League, AAA East. Oh no, hell, what am I looking at here? Oh, that's 2022. Okay, never mind. He was in AAA this year. He was putting up okay, 4.24 ERA, 30 strikeouts over 23 and a third. He was better last year in the minors. 2.47 ERA. 71 Ks and 54 and 2/3. I mean, I don't know. Let me actually pull him up here on Fangraphs. Let's see if they have a bit of a scouting on him. No. They don't have any tools. He was in the Yankee system back in 2018. He was in Fangraphs. He was in the Yankees top 27 on Fangraphs. So he's been an arm that's had some attention in the past, but I don't know. It's just kind of whatever. Just, it's some depth for the organization. But taking a look at the trade itself, it is accepted. Baseball trade values once again coming up with another approved trade, and people still continue to doubt baseball trade values. Man, oh man, we gotta stop that. But Naquin, he had 0.4 million deal. He had no value. So the pieces that the Reds got back were Hector Rodriguez and Jose Acuna. He wasn't in their system on BTV, so as of right now, it is accepted. I would imagine Acuna is probably not going to have a ton of value. So it does mention here, Acuna is not highly regarded by any of our prospect sources, so his estimated value once added to the system is 0.1 to 0.2 million, making this line up very fairly. Don't worry about the gap. This is well within the usual margin of error and isn't a major overpay in any way. I mean, that's the thing, sure, like you are going to have some gap, 1.2 to 0.4. Yeah, you're usually going to see, like, if we go pull up some trades here, like if we go back to even the Max Scherzer trade last year, Max Scherzer and Turner to the Dodgers, right? They were $8 million apart there, so it's not going to be perfect, but it was within range. I don't know, even if we go back to, let's just do Olsen to the Braves. That was this offseason. You were about $2 million apart in value there. So, yeah, BTV, it's never going to be spot on perfect, but they're within that range every single time. So that's why there is, because if you look here on BTV, they give low, they give median, and they give high. So that's where the conversation can be had to where, like, you could go as high as this or you could go as low as this. So and then you have the middle point. So, it's never going to be spot on perfect, but it was accepted by their model. I guess in the end for the Mets, you're adding another lefty bat. You added Vogelbach already, so like, I don't know. I just, I don't know. Am I missing something? Like, it's just, I don't know. They've been still wanting to add bats, but like now you've added another bat. Like, I don't know what's going on here. Is maybe someone else going to get moved? Are we going to have someone get shipped out possibly? Could JD Davis be on the move or something? I don't know, but Naquin's an outfielder. So I don't know. Maybe this could end up leading to something else possibly, but it's kind of whatever. It is what it is. But everyone, that is all I have for tonight. That's all I have for tonight. If you can, on the way out, hit that like button for me. The goal was 150. Oh, we got to 200 likes. Oh, awesome, everyone. We got to our goal. If you can, hit it on the way out for me. Hit the bell notification. That way you get notified anytime I go live or upload a video. Share the stream and any other content if you can. And hey, anyone, if you are new and you are considering subscribing, definitely think about it. We're talking a lot of news and rumors over the next week, and I'm talking baseball here all the time. Everyone, I'm a tired boy. I'm going to bed. I got to wake up in the morning. I got to do some stuff. But everyone, I want to thank everyone for all of the support tonight. Super chats galore tonight. It really does mean a lot. The support really is greatly appreciated. So everyone, thank you for all of that. And thank you for coming out tonight. Hey, if I can, I'll go live for something tomorrow. Oh, we got a last minute member. Alib the G. Ollie B the G. Oh, there it is. Ollie B the G. I like it. Pikachu MVP membership. Ollie B the G. Thank you for becoming a member at the last second. And hey, I appreciate everyone for coming out tonight. And hey, if there's anything to talk about tomorrow night, I will be here. So be on the lookout. Everyone, have yourself a great night, and I'll talk to you next time.